In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate the concept between Java classes and objects. Now, Java by far is an object-oriented language. But what really is an object? Objects, recall from our previous lessons, have states and behaviors. So for example, a dog states could have color, name, breed, and behaviors such as wagging, barking, sleeping, eating, and so on. So an object basically is an instance of a class. And what is a class? A class can be defined simply as a template or a blueprint that describes the behavior or the states that object of its type support. So by definition, the basic concept of object and classes. So next, I'm going to talk about objects a little more in depth. So in the real world scenario, for example, you can find many objects around you, such as cars, dogs, humans, etc. And all these objects have a state and a behavior. So for example, if we were to consider a dog, then its state is name, breed, color, and the behavior is barking, wagging, or running. Another example would be, let's say, software objects also have a state and behavior. A software object's state is stored in fields, and the behavior is shown via methods. So in software development, for example, methods operate on the internal state of an object, and the object-to-object communication is conducted via different methods. On the other hand, a class is a blueprint, as I mentioned earlier, from which individual objects are created. So for example, let me next demonstrate by creating a simple class, and this will make the concept more clear. So let's move to our Java Eclipse editor. Once I'm in the editor, I'm going to go ahead and right-click on Java Introduction, choose New, and then click on Class. And I'm going to name this class, let's say, Dog, and click Finish. And this will open and create the public class called Dog. Next, I'm going to give it a string called Breed, and then specify the int, the age, C for the string color. And notice I'm just building different states here. Behaviors as well is going to come next. So first the string of breed, and then the string color. And next I'm going to specify certain states for this dog. So I'm going to say void barking, open up my curly braces, and then close them. And next I can choose another one such as void hungry, do the same thing, open the curly braces, close them, and let's do another one. Let's say void and sleeping. So here's our class. Let me fix up the errors here. Semicolon. Then of course we need to close the curly braces and make sure we have the curly braces open and then closed properly, otherwise Java is going to give you the syntax error. So a simple class and contains any of the variable types. So basically a class can contain either a local variable, and these variables define inside methods or constructors. It can also contain instance variables or class variables that we'll take a look at a little later. But for right now, just the concept of the local variables that are defined inside the methods. And a class can have any number of methods to access the value of the various kinds of these methods. So for example, in this particular scenario, we're looking at barking, hungry, sleeping. These are all methods. So this is the concept of classes in Java, and of course methods as well. Next, let me show you how to create an object, or what is an object that we talked earlier. But a class provides the blueprints for objects. So basically an object is created from a particular class. And primarily there are 3 steps when creating an object from a class. First you declare it, then it's the instantiation, and of course the initialization. And we've covered this in previous lessons, but this is just a recap and good reinforcement. So let me go ahead and in fact, let's create a new class one more time. And this time I'm going to call this puppy. Click Finish. And once I have my public class puppy created, next I'm going to set some properties. So I'm going to say public puppy, and then the string name, open our curly braces, and then define and create a constructor. So for instance, let me in fact put a comment here. So this constructor has only one parameter, and that parameter is called name, so it's going to pass the name. So when I print this out, for example, so let me go ahead and do this in fact. So let's do system.out.print. And I'm going to say past name is name. And then of course our semicolon. Close our curly braces. Next I can define the properties for the main, just like we've been doing in earlier lessons. So let's go ahead and do public, static, void, and then our main. Let's put string. Here's our array in our command line. Argument, open the curly braces. And next, I'm going to create a statement that would create an object called myPuppy. So far, we've given the public puppy a string name, but next, here I'm going to show you how we can create an object. So for instance, let me put a comment here. So now we are going to create an object. And we're going to call it myPuppy. So here it's going to be puppy and then myPuppy. This would equal new puppy, and then we're going to give it a name, right? So we're going to call it, let's say, Tommy, and then use a semicolon. Great. So this creates an object. And of course, let me fix the syntax error. So this is equals, not minus, of course. Fix the syntax. You can just simply say new puppy. So just give it a name. So we don't have to use the puppy and then myPuppy equals. So Java would know that you're just creating and passing a name, Tommy. So once I have this, let me go ahead and in fact run this so we can see the output. So I'm only going to run the puppy.java, click OK, and notice the pass name is Tommy. So this is how you would simply create a new object within a class. So practice working with classes and objects, very important in Java, and the more you do it, the easier it'll become. So hope this helps. Let's move to the next lesson.